Hello and welcome to the video discussions for the preliminary examination of 2021. So this is a series in which we'll be making video discussions on the prelims test series of 2021 of the Rouse IAS. Now you might all be knowing that the prelims examination for this year is scheduled on 27th of June. And accordingly, only 6 odd months are left for your preparation. So it is the right time to start preparing and taking as many tests as possible for the preparation of 2021's preliminary examination. Now, in the previous videos, we have already outlined the main motive or the main idea of giving you these videos. So I'll again summarize the main points. So first and foremost, taking practice tests is very important for one's preparation. And that is because it helps you in identifying what is the level of your preparation, what are your strengths and weaknesses. Also, it keeps a track of your preparation. And again, it is a confidence booster for some, and people who are lagging behind can work on weak areas. So in this regard, our prelims test series for 2021 is up and running, and that will include around 55 tests and current affair tests based on the focus magazine of Rouse IAS. Now in this video, what we will be doing is that we will be taking up important themes from those tests that will be conducted in the prelims test series. And we will be mapping few questions with the previous year questions, and accordingly we'll give you an idea as to what UPSC has been asking or what is the manner in which UPSC asks the questions in the preliminary examination. So that will give you a good idea and will acquaint you with the pattern of the prelims examination. So in this discussion, we'll be taking up the geography subject, and we have taken up 5 questions from the prelims test series, and we have tried to emulate the questions from the previous year questions. So here we'll be doing the mapping of those questions that have been asked in the prelims test series with the previous year questions. So accordingly, in this discussion, we have taken up 5 questions and 5 important themes of geography, and we have tried to map those questions with the previous year questions, and there are around 13 odd previous year questions that will be discussed in this video. So let us start this discussion for the geography tests. Now in geography, one of the important themes in the preliminary examination is the rivers. And you can be asked questions on the rivers of India or on the rivers of world. And such questions are generally match the following kind of questions. So for example, if you look at this question that was asked in 2020, it talked about important international rivers and the sea into which these rivers flow. Accordingly, you can also be asked questions regarding the rivers and their sources, also important cities that are located on such rivers. So before solving this question from our preliminary examination test series, let us first look at the previous year questions which have been asked on similar themes. So this question was asked in 2020, and it required us to identify the pairs if they are correctly matched or not. Now if you look at this question deeply, you will find that in the international relations, we normally study about the Mekong Ganga Cooperation Initiative. So accordingly, you should also be aware of the location of Mekong River. Further, Caspian Sea is also one of the important seas about which we study when we read about the Chabahar port, because through the Chabahar port, India aims at connecting to the Central Asian region via the Caspian Sea. And if you have looked at or learned about the location of Caspian Sea, you will find that the Volga River flows into the Caspian Sea. So here the third match is correct. And regarding the Mekong River, about which we normally read in the Mekong Ganga Cooperation Initiatives, and if you have seen the map of Mekong River, you will find that it flows into the Pacific Ocean, while the Andaman Sea is located in the Indian Ocean. So clearly, we find that the Mekong River has been incorrectly matched. By this, you can eliminate A and D. So first, you need to look about the rivers or the locations that you are aware of and you have studied in the preparation. After that, we are left with only options B and C. And we already know that Volga River flows into the Caspian Sea because we all have studied about the location of Caspian Sea because of the current affairs related to the Chabahar port, which is an important initiative for India. And the only thing that you need to identify here is if the Zambezi River flows into the Indian Ocean or not. And if you have prepared important rivers of all the continents in the world geography, you will find that Zambezi is an important river of the African continent and it flows into the Indian Ocean in the Mozambique Channel. So what we see here is that the third and the fourth pairs are correctly matched. And the correct answer that comes out is C, that is 3 and 4 only. So the first learning by solving this question is that you need to apply the knowledge that you have acquired in your preparation. And after application of such knowledge, you can easily eliminate some of the options that are given in such kind of questions. Let us look at some other previous year questions related to similar theme. Further, if you look at this question that was asked in 2019, it required us to identify if the pairs of the glacier from which the rivers originate and the rivers are correctly matched or not. And we have been given 5 such pairs. Now again, applying the knowledge of NCERT, in which we read about the rivers in the geography of class 11th, we find that Yamuna River originates from the Bandarpunch Glacier. And this is a very common fact if you have clearly studied the NCERT of class 11th. Now, what insight does it throw? So by this, we find that only the options A and B can be correct here. So easily the options C and D have been eliminated. And here the fourth pair has been given in both the options A and B. And by this, we can easily ascertain that the fourth pair has been correctly matched. So the only thing that we need to identify in this question is that is the second pair correctly matched or the third pair correctly matched. And if you have read about the Chenab River, you will find that it originates from the Bara Shigri Glacier. And this Bara Shigri feeds the Chandra River, which meets the Bhaga River and is known as the Chenab River. So basically, the Chenab River and the glacier Bara Shigri are related. And by this, the correct answer that comes out is A, that is 1, 2 and 4. And if you have read about the Mandakini River, which is a tributary of Alaknanda, it originates from the Chorabari Glacier near Kedarnath. So this has clearly been incorrectly matched. So you see that it is the application of the knowledge that you acquire in your preparation that is required in solving such kinds of questions. Again, if you look at this question in 2019, it talks about matching the pairs of famous place that is located on important rivers in India. Now, in solving this question, we all are aware of the location of Hampi. And Hampi was an important city in the Vijayanagara Empire. So by applying the knowledge about the Vijayanagara Empire and the location of Hampi, we already know that Hampi is located on the Tungabhadra River. So this is definitely incorrectly matched. So by this, you can easily eliminate the options B, C and D. And the only option that we are left with is A option, and in this, the correct answer that comes out is 1 and 2 only. So you see that although the questions appear very difficult on the face of it, but if you apply the knowledge that you have acquired in your preparation, it becomes easy to solve such kind of questions. So after this, let us look at a question that we have created in our Prelims Test Series on the similar theme. Now, if you go through the chapter of drainage system in the NCERT of class 11th of geography, you will find that an important topic there is the small rivers that flow towards the western part of India and drain into Arabian Sea. Now, normally what happens is that when we go through that chapter, we tend to learn only about the main or important rivers. And we have a tendency to skip the smaller rivers about which information has been provided in that chapter. However, you can always expect a question on that particular theme, and accordingly, this question has been created. And in that, if you know that the Vetarna River originates in Nasik district, while the Kali Nadi originates in Belgaum district, then you can easily find that the pairs 4th and 5th are incorrectly matched. And by this, we can eliminate B, C and D. So the only option that we are left with is A, that is 1, 2 and 3 only. So clearly by solving these questions, we find that it is the application of the knowledge that is required. And you can find more such questions in the Prelims Test Series. With this, let's take up the next question now. Now, second important theme that we have identified in geography is the descriptive kind of questions. And in such questions, you have been provided a description of a particular location or a geographical feature, and you are required to correctly identify that location or geographical feature from the options that have been given. So in this regard, if you look at the previous year questions, you will find that in the year 2015, a question was asked related to one of the important national park, and you are required to identify which of the national park has climate that varies from tropical to subtropical and temperate and arctic, that is, which has all kinds of variations of climate, that is, from tropical to subtropical, temperate and arctic. Now again, it needs to be reiterated that such kind of questions can only be solved through application of the knowledge that you acquire during your preparation. Further, in 2019, again a similar question was asked to the one that was asked in the year 2015. And here also we were required to identify the national park which completely lies in the temperate alpine zone. So you can see that themes are often repeated in the preliminary examination, and accordingly solving previous year questions is of utmost importance for the preparation of preliminary examination. Now, if you look at the location of these national parks that are provided in the options, you will find that Kanchenjunga is located here. The Valley of Flowers, the Nanda Devi National Park is located very close to the Valley of Flowers, and the Neora Valley is located in Darjeeling, while the Nam Dafa is located in the Arunachal Pradesh. So clearly we note that the Nanda Devi and the Kanchenjunga, they are both located in the alpine region. Further, Neora Valley, that is located in the Darjeeling district of the West Bengal, does not have such widespread variation from the tropical to subtropical, temperate, and Arctic. So, the only option that fits best to this description is the Namdafa National Park. This we can also identify if we know the rainfall distribution in India. And if you have read about the Himalayas in the Arunachal Pradesh or in the northeastern part, you will find that these Himalayas have variation from tropical to subtropical to temperate and Arctic climate. So this is one of the ways in which you can solve such kind of questions. Again, if you look at this question that was asked in 2019, it is very similar to the question that was asked in 2015, and here we are required to identify the national park which completely lies in the temperate alpine zone. So if you had solved the question paper of 2015 and looked at the options that were given closely, you could have eliminated the option B, C and Manas National Park, because Manas National Park is located in the state of Assam and it does not completely lie in the temperate alpine zone. So the only option that we are left with is Valley of Flowers National Park in the Uttarakhand state of India. And this Valley of Flowers and the Nanda Devi National Park are clearly or completely located in the temperate alpine zone. After looking at these previous year questions, if you look at this question from our prelims test series, it reads moderate slope, thick soil covers with high organic content, well distributed rainfall throughout the year, mild winters, rich flora and fauna, particularly various type of orchids. The above description holds true for which of the following sections of the Himalayas? Now you might be knowing that the description that has been provided here are important conditions for the cultivation of tea. And in this regard, the Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas are known for their tea cultivation. So by this you can clearly identify that this description matches with that of the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas. So the correct answer here is B. So again, you can solve this question by the application of the basic knowledge. So after this, let us look at the next question now. The third type of questions that you encounter in the geography section are simply from the political map of India. So you should clearly have an idea of the political map of India, and that can help you in solving questions in the preliminary examination. And accordingly, we have created this question in our prelims test series. So if you look at this question that was asked in 2017, it could have only been solved if you clearly knew about the political map of India. Again, this question that was asked in 2018 could also be solved only if you knew about the political map of India. Further, this question from the world geography that was asked in 2014 was related to the mapping. And in this question also you need to be clear about the locations of important regions in the world in which India has interest. So for example, in Southeast Asia, India has good relations with ASEAN countries, and also India was in talks about the regional comprehensive economic partnership. Similarly, you will find that questions have been asked from the West Asian region, which is continuously in news, and also from the regions nearing the Caspian Sea and the Chabahar port. So accordingly, those areas in which India has its interests are important for us from the world geography point of view also. So in this question that was asked in 2017, you were required to identify the minimum number of states within India through which you can travel from Kohima to Kottayam. Now Kohima is the capital of Nagaland and Kottayam is located in Kerala. So if you are aware about the states of India and their locations, you could have easily solved this question. So if Nagaland is the first state, second state would have been Assam, third state would have been West Bengal. From there on you can go to Odisha, and in the fifth step you could have reached Andhra Pradesh. From here you can reach Kerala through Karnataka, that is 6th and 7th, or you can reach Kerala by Tamil Nadu, that is 6th and 7th. So simply we find that we can reach in 7 simple steps or by crossing the 7 states of India from Kohima to Kottayam. Again, in this question that was asked in 2018, we are required to identify the city which lies on the longitude that is closest to that of Delhi. So if you look at this map, we can identify the cities about which we have been asked. First one is Pune, second one is Nagpur, third is Hyderabad, fourth is Bangalore. And if you look at this map, you will find that Bangalore lies on the longitude that is closest to that of Delhi, and the correct answer is A. Further, in this question, in which you have to find the correct sequence of occurrence of the cities when you move from south to north, first you need to identify the southernmost city. So clearly, if you are aware about the map of Southeast Asia, you will find that Jakarta, which is the capital of Indonesia, is the southernmost. And by this, we zero down the options B and C. And after that, you need to identify the city which is closest to Jakarta. So that will obviously be Singapore. And the correct answer here will be C, that is 3412. So if you look at the map, we find that Jakarta is the southernmost. Then if you move northwards, you will find that Singapore is the closest to Jakarta. Then Bangkok, which is the capital of Thailand, is further northwards. And Hanoi, which is in Vietnam, is the northernmost of these 4 cities. So correct answer is C, that is 3412. So if you try to solve this question from our prelims test series, it reads which of the following statements is incorrect. First is that Uttar Pradesh is the only state which shares its border with 9 states and union territories. Second is Assam does not share its border with Tripura. Third is Chhattisgarh shares its borders with Uttar Pradesh. And fourth is Meghalaya and Sikkim are the only 2 Indian states which have only 1 neighboring state each. Now in this, if you are aware about the location of the Indian states in the northeastern part of India, you will find that Assam shares its borders with all the northeastern states of India. That is, it shares its borders with Meghalaya, the Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. And that is why the statement B clearly is incorrect and meets the requirement of our question. So it is the correct option here. So such kind of questions can only be solved if you have done your mapping properly. And in this regard, you should be aware about the political map of India properly. With this, let's take up the next question now. Now, the fourth important theme is the minerals that are found in India and the rocks or the rock systems in which such kind of minerals are found. So this question in our preliminary test series is related to the Gondwana rocks and their characteristics. And if you look at this question that was asked in 2014, it is related to coal bed methane and shale gas, which are 2 non-conventional energy sources. So the first statement reads, coal bed methane is the pure methane gas extracted from coal seams, while shale gas is a mixture of propane, butane only. Second statement is that in India, abundant coal bed methane sources exist, but so far no shale gas sources have been found. So in such questions where words like only and no have been used, which are extreme in nature, you should clearly verify the statements properly. So if you look at this part of the question, that is shale gas is a mixture of propane and butane only, this becomes incorrect because methane is the primary composition of all the natural gases. And the second part, that is no shale gas resources have been found in India, was also incorrect because shale gas sources have been clearly identified in India, and the correct answer was D, that is neither 1 nor 2. Next question that was asked in 2015 reads, in India the steel production industry requires the import of, and India is not self-sufficient in the production of coking coal, and as such we are required to import it. Third question reads, consider the following statements. In this, if you read the third statement properly, it reads, till recently India imported coal to meet the shortages of domestic supply, but now India is a self-sufficient in coal production. Now this statement is clearly incorrect, and by this you could easily eliminate the options B, C and D, and the correct answer that comes out is 1 only. Now if you see here, this question that was asked in 2015 clearly required us to identify the import of coking coal, which is required for steel production in India. So accordingly, if you would have solved this question before appearing in the exam, you might be aware that India is dependent upon such high-grade coal for the production of steel, and that is why India is not self-sufficient in coal production, and by this you could have easily eliminated the third statement here. So now if you look at this question from our preliminary examination test series, it reads which of the following statements is or are correct about the Gondwana rocks. First is that these rocks are found in Kashmir, Darjeeling and Sikkim. Second statement is that economically, the Gondwana rocks are the most important in India, containing about 98% of her coal reserves. Now, if you have learned about the Gondwana rock system, you will find that the main areas where the Gondwana rock system is found is along the Damodar Valley in Jharkhand, Mahanadi River Valley in Chhattisgarh and Odisha. Also, it is found in the southern parts of Madhya Pradesh, and in the extra peninsular region, these rocks are found in Kashmir, Darjeeling and Sikkim. So, first statement is correct. Secondly, economically, the Gondwana rocks are the most important in India because they contain about 98% of her coal reserves. And this is clearly known because its distribution is found in some of the areas which are abundant in coal resources, and they include the Damodar River Valley, the Mahanadi River Valley, etc. So here both these statements 1 and 2 are correct, and the correct answer that comes out is C, that is both 1 and 2. With this, let's take up the next question now. Now, forest resources are an important theme for the preliminary examination, and in this regard, this question from our prelims test series is related to the forest cover in India. And if you look at this question in 2019, it was related to the percentage of forest cover to the total area of the state, and we were required to arrange these states in the correct ascending order. Now, if you look at the states that are given in this question, these include the Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Odisha. Now, even if you are not aware about the actual percentage of forest cover to the total area of the state, you can attempt this question. Now, in newspapers and current affairs, we normally read about the state of Chhattisgarh and its Naxal problem. And one of the reasons for high Naxal presence in the Chhattisgarh state is its high forest cover. And here also, if you look at the actual percentage of forest cover to the total area of the state, Chhattisgarh has the highest percentage of forest cover. So by this, you can zero down on option B and C. Again, if you closely look at the state of Maharashtra, we note that Maharashtra has a region known as Vidarbha, and that is mostly drought affected. And that is also in news continuously for the issue of farmer suicides. So clearly, in percentage terms, the forest cover in Maharashtra is less as compared to its total area. And in other states like Odisha and Madhya Pradesh, we note that they have large number of tiger reserves and national park, and accordingly, they might be having more percentage of forest cover to their total area as compared to Maharashtra. So if Maharashtra is the least and Chhattisgarh is the highest, the correct answer would simply be C. Now, this question in the prelims test series has been created from the Forest Survey of India's report, which was released recently. So if you have read about the State of Indian Forest report by the Forest Survey of India, you will find that Madhya Pradesh has the highest forest cover. And accordingly, that is the only thing that you need to identify in solving this question. So clearly in the option B, we have been given that Madhya Pradesh as the highest forest cover and Maharashtra as the least forest cover. And that should be the descending order of these states in terms of the absolute forest cover. So the correct answer that comes out is B.